Asue Godalo, a businessman, has won the governorship primary election of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State. Dauda Lawal, governor of Zamfara, and returning officer of the election, declared Ighodalo winner of the primary poll which held at the Ogbemudia Stadium on Thursday. Lawal said Ighodalo secured 577 votes to defeat other aspirants in the race.
The party that has what it takes to rule this country is again showing the example in the way we are conducting our leadership selection process. We are following our rules very assiduously. My role here as a host governor is to welcome and thank all of you who have made this possible.
Meanwhile, Philip Shaibu, the deputy governor of Edo State, is said to have won a parallel governorship primary organized at his residence in Benin. Bartholomew Moses, the returning officer who announced Shaibu as the winner of the primary election, said the deputy governor won the exercise with over 300 votes. Joining us now on the morning show is Asue Godalo, winner of the governorship primary election of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Edo State, monitored by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Good morning, Mr. Ighodalo, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Dr. Abati, and thank you for inviting me this morning. Thank you. Morning.
Well, I guess congratulations are in order. Congratulations. You're being declared the
Thank you very much.
Candidate now of the PDP in the forthcoming Edo State gubernatorial elections. But two quick things. Number one is that...
Thank you, Doctor.
The media keeps reporting that you are the preferred candidate of Godwin Obaseki, the governor. And I know that, look, you had addressed this again and again, but it looks like it's not going away. Again, you know, that tag, I don't know how you feel that people keep tagging you the governor's anointed candidate. That's one. And two, how do you feel about the fact that Philip Shaibu, the deputy governor, organized his own parallel primary election in his house and was declared a winner? So are you bothered about that? Are you disturbed? You know, do you have concerns that could affect the eventual situation?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. And like I said, thank you for inviting me again this morning. This issue of governor's preferred candidate, I've talked about it over and over again. And I'll keep talking about it for as long as people keep asking me about it. And I say this very clearly, that I came into this race on my own steam by myself. I was asked and by a number of friends to consider political office, and it's something that my friends and some elders talked to me about over a period of time. And I then prayed about it, discussed it with my family, and then my partners in my law firm, and I then took the decision to do it. Many things had affected my thinking and kind of moved my thinking towards public office. I'd been involved in a lot of public-related services over the years. In Edo State particularly, I was in the economic team, or I've been related or in and around the economic team since 2008. I was in Comrade Oshomale's economic team from 2008 to 2016. I was asked by Governor Obaseki to chair the Alagodaro Limited by Guarantee, which every year organized the economic summit of the state and had a board that periodically advised the government on its economic policies. I was chairman of the Nigerian Economic Summit for 4 years. And even as important, when I served on the board of the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, there were a lot of public-related activities that we were engaged in and infrastructure development. And all of this caused me, when I started thinking, when I was being talked to consider public service, it caused me to shift favorably towards that thinking. So that's what it is. I suspect that for many people, it's convenient to set a narrative to distract and remove from the issues. I also have said this many times before, that when you looked at all of the aspirants, there are many more people that are closely related to Governor Obaseki and even friendlier with Governor Obaseki than myself. So I never understood why this toga of being the governor's preferred candidate was put on my head. But, as far as that may go, I don't think it's a problem anymore. I have managed to reach out to the people of Edo State for them to know who I am, what I'm about, what I have for the people of Edo State, my thinking about social issues, economic issues, unemployment, insecurity. So I'm quite clear, and I think the people of Edo State now know who I am and know what I stand for. Governor Obaseki and I have been friends for over 40 years. I respect him tremendously, and I believe he does respect me too. We've worked, you keep referring to me as a businessman. I'm actually a lawyer, not a businessman. I've worked as a corporate lawyer on different sides or the same side of transactions with him. And so we've been friends, and I think that's how he invited me to work with him on his economic team. But be that as it may, I came into this process by myself, on my own steam, encouraged by friends and elders from Edo State, and I have not regretted one moment coming into this race. I see a path for the state. I see a way by which I can contribute to moving the state into prosperity, and I'm glad that I've come into this process, and I'll give it my all. I thank God that we've gone through the first stage, and we'll start work on reaching out to the people, talking to the people, getting across to the people, and doing our very best to do well in September and win elections in the state. As regards your second question, I actually didn't know anything else was happening in anybody's house. Definitely as loyal members of our party, we shouldn't do things that will bring our party into disrepute. But I'm quite clear in my mind that the party will deal with that issue. It's not something I should lose sleep over or waste any time talking about. When you invite guests into your house, into your residence for an event, you can call the event whatever you wish. But I'm sure the party will deal with that issue.
All right. Congratulations, Mr. Asiegodalu. Good to see you on the other side of your win. The last time you were here, you were an aspirant as to being the flag bearer of the PDP in Edo State. Now, two things I'd like to ask you. The first is...
That's Ayo, right?
Yes, it's Ayo. Morning. The first is
morning,
around
yeah.
the accreditation process, where some delegates were said to have been aggrieved that they were denied accreditation, and perhaps that was why they had no choice but to move to another location to conduct their own primaries. I'd like you to speak to that in terms of accreditation. And the second one would be this. I know you've talked about the fact that you wouldn't lose sleep over what happened with the parallel primaries that happened in Edo State. However, when the G5 started off during the presidential elections, it didn't seem like they would have significant impact on the outcome for the PDP in that election. But you'd know that it was a major factor. Are you concerned that the division in your party at this time might impact, not very positively, the chances of the PDP at the polls if it's not sorted properly?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ayo. And again, good morning. As far as I know, and I think I know quite a bit, I think the accreditation process yesterday went extremely well. We went through the World Congresses where we elected 3 ad hoc delegates for each ward. We have 192 wards, so I think we came about having 576, thereabouts, or 572 delegates that were elected. The results of that election went up to the National Working Committee of the party, and those results were validated and confirmed. Based on those results and the delegates elected, we had the national delegates election the week after. Those results were also validated and confirmed, and a list of elected delegates that will take part in our primaries was confirmed by the National Working Committee of the party, was published, and was circulated to all the members of the party in Edo State who are involved in this process. That was the list that was used to accredit delegates to yesterday's primaries. And everybody that was on that list, because I saw the list, had everybody's photograph and name and particulars. So everybody that was on that list went into the accreditation center, got accredited, and those who were accredited were then let into the venue of the primaries. That was the process. It followed the constitution of the party. It followed the guidelines that were set down for the primary election. So I think everything went. I would like to commend the National Working Committee of the party. I think through this process, and this being my probably a great experience with the party, the whole process went really well. And I really give kudos to the National Working Committee. I think they did really well. And for me, what I saw yesterday, I didn't see any proper delegate or validated delegate complaining. Anybody can drop a list in their bedroom and then say that is the list of delegates. There's a process. Like I said, we shouldn't bring the party into disrepute. We should always act in accordance with the laws we set. If you join a party or an organization, then you must abide by the laws, rules, and policies of that organization. We have a constitution in our party, which was updated up until 2017. I believe that was the last amendment. We have electoral guidelines. We have processes. We have rules. We have appeal processes. The party has strong internal mechanisms for dispute resolution and for resolving its issues. So I find it a bit strange that people resort to self-help. I don't think it's a proper way to proceed. I don't think people that seek to lead should not follow the law and should not follow the rules that are set down and behave in a manner that will bring a credible organization into any form of disrepute. So I think the process went well yesterday as far as I am concerned and as far as I know, and from the feedback I've received from the very many delegates that came from all over the state to attend this process. Again, I commend the National Working Committee and the local organizing committee for the organization that was put in place. If you are not validated, if you are not listed and confirmed by the National Working Committee, you couldn't stroll into the accreditation center and demand to be accredited. We're not in a jungle environment. There are rules and regulations, and we will abide by those rules and regulations. And I think many or nearly all of the party members that came from far and wide abided by those rules and regulations. And I think we had a smooth and transparent and effective primaries overseen by Governor Lawal and Governor Sheriff of Delta State, and a very strong panel that had a former senator, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and strong party members. And I think everything went well. And like I said, I give kudos to the National Working Committee. As regards the consequential effect of what happened somewhere else in town, like I said before, the party has strong internal mechanisms for dealing with things like that, and the party will deal with it. The party will be fair, the party will be just, and the party will deal with it. Like I don't think that anybody should just wake up and decide that they want to do something contrary to what the party has set down and seek to get that validated. We're not in the jungle anymore, and we're not in the 18th century when everything was by brute and force. I think the rules and regulations were in the 21st century, and we'll act in accordance with those rules and regulations. So like I said, the party will deal with all these issues, and I'm not losing any sleep over this. There's a lot of work to be done now. Okay. We have to come and unite the party, get guys back together so that we can prepare for the elections in September.
But congratulations once again, Mr. Asri Godalo. I'm really excited about your optimism that you say we're not in the 18th century, but I'm sorry, I disagree with you. In Nigerian politics, well, we're in the wild, wild west, even worse than the 18th century. If not, you wouldn't see all this shenanigan happening everywhere in our politics. I mean, it's way worse than that. Let's not try to, put a lipstick on the mouth of a pig. It's murky. it is dirty, and what happened yesterday is an indication.
Rufai,
And I have to say that strongly. I mean,
Rufai,
Ayo cited
good
the
morning.
good morning, sir. Ayo cited the G5. You know, we can go way back. Even what happened to Soludo before his emergence, how the case had to draw out for a while in Anambra State and all of that. But there's a case in court. A certain Moru took a case to court. In fact, was trying to get an ex-party to stop the party primary from going on. But the judge said that we'd like to hear all sides on this. I mean, what's your take on that, number one? Number two, we talked, you know, we had a conversation last time you were here about funding for projects in Edo State. And you threw up some very exciting ideas. I want to hear your ideas on, you know, funding, for instance, for infrastructural projects around the bypass, the Warri Sapele Road, you know, in Benin, and a couple of other road projects in and out of the states, you know, those options.
thank you very much. Again, Rufai, thank you, and good morning.
Morning.
You. I think there'll always be contestations and sometimes disputes in any gathering or group of people. The issue really is how those disputes are resolved. That truly is the issue. And I said earlier that I have every confidence that our party has strong internal mechanisms for resolving disputes. And we have, at the last resort, we have our courts. You know, when cases become justiciable, we have our courts. And our courts will deal from the lower courts to the appellate court to the Supreme Court. We have a court system that will again deal with these issues. We must, as much as possible, try and abide by the rule of law. And that's what I was trying to say. And so all of these issues will go through the normal process and the normal judicial process after they've gone through our own internal process.